Hello everyone, and welcome to the penultimate game of our 24-hour session. I'm Simo, and I will be your dungeon master slash game master for the next 6 hours. Stick with me, because this is going to be chaotic. My brain is absolutely mush. We are here to play a very, very exciting game called Bryte. There are a couple of caveats to get through that I will explain in a second, but first of all, I would like to open up to our players so we can see who we have even. So we have a beautiful cast of 4 players today, and they will be playing kind of aliens and different species in space. And yeah, if we can have a look at them, and we'll just see what they look like. Hello everyone, you are live on the internets. Yeah, so do we want to go from my right, because we have a couple of new players around. So, Ollie?
Character names? Or
just your name now.
Cool. Ollie, as always. This is my 3rd game now, out of 4.
I'm Ridian, and this is my first game and last game.
Right.
I'm Mia, and this is also my first game and last game.
Ruben, and this is my 2nd game out of last one.
Great. So, what is Bryte? Full disclosure, Bryte is the game that I've never played, I've never seen played, and I've never run. So putting it exactly on the penultimate slot that I have after being awake for about 30 hours was probably not a good idea. We'll see in the next 3 hours if that was any good or not. But Bryte, essentially, it takes place in the Olaxis galaxy, and the idea is that there is something outside of the galaxy that is slowly consuming it, called the burn. And so it is a bit about what these characters will do with however long they have left. If you stayed around for 10 candles, you will start to notice a pattern in my games, so don't tell anyone. But the caveat is that Bryte was created exclusively for the platform Roll20, so it's a game that is meant to be played online. It is meant to be played with access to a laptop or like a screen, and so there's a lot of mechanics in that game that are from the character sheet that is designed for that platform to just conditions and keeping track of certain things that we obviously can't do here. So we are going to play. We're going to play really a light version of Bryte, with a lot of things that are changed and a lot of things that are just meant for us to have a good time and tell a story in space, which is great. So, what is the main kind of mechanic of Bryte? It is that, as a game master, I don't tell players what they're going to roll. So, if I, for example, say, if you guys say that we have a situation that can be either combat or not, and I say, well, this is a confrontation that's happening here, and you decide that the best way to deal with that is through using your stealth skill. Everyone has access to the same skills. That is exactly what you can do, because you will have different dice attributed to different skills, and in order to achieve your highest abilities that you have, you need to have used all the dice at least once, or once to achieve what is called a Nova point, that grants you the capability of using Nova abilities. So it is a game that kind of encourages players being upfront and players wanting to put their character in situations that maybe they wouldn't be so kind of happy to do, because you need to use that D4 dice at some point, otherwise you're not going to get your Nova ability, which is really cool. So it's all about choosing your moments and playing with what feels right. So that is kind of the main mechanic of the game. And obviously there's a couple of other things that we probably won't be able to touch, like a ship. The ship is a big part of the Bryte manual, but we will most likely not have one designed / created, but it will be in our minds, hopefully. So let's go around the tables again to kind of introduce your characters, names, and a little bit about what they look like. You don't necessarily need to say their race, although you can, even though that might not mean a lot to us and for the people that are watching. So let's start with Ollie. Who is your character?
I am playing a 30-foot tall robotic suit that is also sentient. It was programmed with a accent that is questionable, but sure. My character's name is Demo, which is short for demonstration, not demolition, as a lot of people get confused. That's pretty much it.
Cool.
My character is called Erd. He is basically a being made out of rocks and living crystal. He has got usually on a scale of blue to purple in the tones of his crystals, and he is about 6.5 feet tall.
6.5 feet. Can you just repeat the name for me, really? Sorry. Erd. And 6.5 feet tall. Great. Mia?
I am playing a humanoid insect who is bright green called Anna Dukas.
Humanoid insects. Great. How tall are they, roughly?
I am bad at estimating heights, and I don't know.
Great.
I don't know.
That's fine.
I am playing Dri-san, or Dri, who is a Ronan, which is just a huge kind of humanoid shape of blue bugs merging to get all in and out of each other, all mixed together. It's a hive, and roughly 6'5".
Nice. 6. Right. So, in Bryte, we would have a ship, and your crew would be like your family. So, I guess my question to kind of start with, and we'll start asking some interesting questions about how did you guys come together, and how did you end up staying on the same ship, essentially, and what keeps you together, I guess. Let's start with who's the newest member to the crew.
I'd say me.
quite literally in meta. Yeah, so we have Demo as being the newest member of the crew.
We probably found you somewhere, and you were trying to do something peaceful, and people sort of maybe hostile. But the fact you're a giant mecha suit with weapons.
Just kind of, fly through space, collecting things I like. Some of them happen to be weapons. A lot of them happen to be weapons. But it's not because I use them, it's because I just like to have them, So I go around, trying to make peace with people and buy new stuff. And they don't like it sometimes, so I just, instead of getting involved, I kind of leave. Anyway, so these guys, they crashed their ship into me while I was floating.
Caused a lot of damage.
You know what? It's a good opportunity for friends, and they didn't attack me straight away, so I stuck around.
Sounds great. Sounds like a very good meet cute. So, and you three, you've been together for how long, you think?
A year, I would say. It's not it's quite a long period, but it's still not the longest.
Yeah, a year is still quite a lot if you're adventuring and doing stuff together. That is quite a long period to create some form of bond between the three of you, which is great. So I'm just going to walk through just a little bit more of how this game's played. Mainly how skills work, and then we are just going to jump in and see what happens. So whenever a situation arises where you think this requires me to do something, come forward, say what you would like to do and what skill you'd like to use, and I will then determine a difficulty. And I say it's a difficulty 3, for example, means that you roll 3 dice of the skill that you've said, and you only fail if you get doubles. So if you roll two numbers that are the same. So if you have, if you intend to roll a stealth, for example, and it is a d4 that you have, if you roll 3 d4s and two of them land on 1s or 2s or 3s or 4s, it means you failed your check. Otherwise, you succeed. So, yeah, it is, but it's really very much up to your initiative and your kind of putting yourselves forward to do certain things. So, with that in mind, we are going to start on the planet of Olaxis, or Olapsis. You have been in this planet for about 2 or 3 months. You originally came to deliver a shipment of weapons that Demo had on them, and you eventually started exploring the planet a little bit more. You started with the northern hemisphere. It is quite a harsh environment in this planet. Very kind of, it's either very hot or very cold. And you started on the northern hemisphere, which was really, really, really cold, which didn't bode well with our tree friend, or with our bugs friend, and with our humanoid insect. Erd, however, loved it, being a crystal individual. But then you decided to go slightly further south. So you're now right about the kind of middle point, the equator, if you want, line of this planet. And it is all right, but it's kind of also very hot and very cold depending on the days. You have been a little bit aimless for about a month or two, not really knowing what your where to go next. There's nothing really uprising. The only thing that you know is that the burn continues to kind of power through the galaxy. Eventually, it is going to reach the center, and who knows what will happen next. So, you are kind of in your ship, just enjoying some music, perhaps, if we're going with the Guardians of the Galaxy kind of visual and feel for it. And there is suddenly a holo communicator on your ship lights up.
How long should we leave that glowing for? I press it.
You see an individual that appears to be a full suit of armor, not too dissimilar from Demo here, but communicates with you, speaks. We have a mission in Korak. Come now. Important. Payment? A lot.
That's a lot of money if we get paid.
Well, that was eloquent.
Very informative.
So, should we get going then?
Well,
We should probably.
Don't have anything else to do.
Yeah. Who does the images? Sort of.
I will, sure.
Okay. You decide to start your ship. And your ship kind of flies still in the atmosphere, not actually leaving. And you arrive in Korak. And in there you go to this kind of spire that is made out of kind of cubic shapes that is just kind of twisted, making its way up. And you see massive kind of elevators. Those elevators are completely made of glass that usually go up, just go like up and down. These just like roll all across the entirety of the spire. And you are kind of like being beaten up by the sun that is coming through. You're right, you don't really feel that, but everyone else feels kind of the heat coming through. And you approach the door, and immediately two big kind of individuals with massive capes and this orange skin, completely like bold if it were humanoids, kind of step in front of the door, and they go, what's your business here?
We were summoned by a peacekeeper.
Huh. Alright. How do I know you're telling the truth?
How do you know when? How do you know we aren't telling the truth?
That's a good point, actually. And the other one just goes, oh, yeah, that's a very good point. Maybe, well, you don't have any weapons on you, do you?
No. No.
None.
Absolutely.
If we did have any weapons, they wouldn't have anything to shoot.
Little buckets. So there you go. Alright. Well, go on in then. You probably want the 3rd floor.
How big is the door?
The door, yeah, the door is about 10 foot tall.
I crawl through it.
How big's the room?
The room then goes up, but the door, as doors usually are not as tall as the ceiling. So, yeah, then you just have to just completely.
It's a transformer without transforming.
Yeah, you just turn into a car and you carry on. But yeah, as you arrive in the center, you just see kind of the very first thing that you notice is the kind of these massive statues that are placed on either side. Instead of the pillars that are supporting the ceiling, it's just these about like 50-foot tall statues. They like tower over you, and you just see this kind of orange and purple hue that's shooting through the windows, kind of illuminating this whole area. And you see individuals of all races and sizes just walking across. You get the idea from what you can see. You see a couple of tents, mostly holo projected in, but this appears to be some sort of market, at least this level. As you look up, there is some sort of kind of illusion that creates a ceiling. But you can see that then the statues pierce through that illusion. But it's just kind of something to keep whatever is above private.
That's interesting.
But they're higher than demo.
The ceiling illusion is higher than demo, yeah.
It's a very high ceiling.
It is a very high ceiling indeed. Third floor, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the 3rd floor we need to get to. Is there another elevator?
How big is the elevator?
This is now the only question we need to keep asking. How big is it?
It is now. The elevator is 17 foot tall.
Should we take the stairs?
Is the how big's
I
the
could
stairs?
sit down in the elevator, but I don't know how much room there'd be left for you guys.
One of them can get into you. I could crawl through your limbs. I don't know how the other person fits in though.
I think I'll just take the next elevator.
Sure.
You're all discussing, and then it just goes, yeah, I'll just wait. Cool. But yeah, eventually, through waiting, you take probably double the amount of time that you actually needed if you didn't have a 30-foot tall robot with you. You arrive at the 3rd level, where you see now that this is much more of an executive kind of area. There is, as you walk in out of the elevator or up the stairs as you are coming out, you see that this is kind of like a lounge, nice like lounge kind of decorated in whites and greys, very, very kind of authoritarian and business-like. Tables and chairs are all different shapes and sizes. Some of them are hanging from the ceiling, others are just coming out from the floor. But all of them appear to have this weird kind of egg theme or motif to it. And at the very end, you see this individual who is kind of lounging out and wearing these kind of really ornate purple robes and just kind of sitting back. And everyone that passes by seems to acknowledge them with some sort of almost reverence. But you noticed as well that they have this weirdly kind of slimy aspect to them, almost like their skin keeps undulating and they are kind of green coloured. So they just kind of lean back, and as they notice you, they say, "Ah, you've got my message. Great. Please approach."
You need a bigger elevator.
Why?
I don't know, I think it was alright. Maybe some cushions in it or something.
I can change my consistency. I can be as thin or as large as I want to. So why would I need a bigger elevator? Oh, because of other people? No, absolutely not. Why would I care?
Well, you seem to care because you called us here, so,
I care about the job. That's a very different thing.
you know, people, jobs tend to go hand in hand.
Well, agree to disagree. Please, grab a seat. Any drinks that you would like?
No drinks, thank you.
We'll just pick up a seat.
How do you do that?
He just leans down and just picks it up off the ground.
I sit down and crush one of the seats.
As you sit down and you just kind of like a piece of thin foil, it just completely collapses.
I kind of crawl over the top and then kind of engulf the top and just lean down forward with like the torso part.
I attempt to fit 4 legs into a very standard-looking chair.
We are very fine, normal people.
Normal.
This is a tabletop RPGs. How does every character sit on a chair?
Number one, they don't.
Exactly. Apparently not. The individual after the spectacle of everyone trying to gather a seat, kind of leans back and says, "Well, I suppose I should introduce myself for those that don't know. My name is Evel. I am the proprietor of this establishment, if you would like. I have a little job, and I was told by hearsay that you would be indicated, rightly so, for a small, very tiny delivery job for an extraplanetary endeavor, if you'd like."
What's the delivery?
The delivery is a simple cachet, a small item that needs to be taken off planet, let's say.
Illegal?
Next question.
It might not be illegal here, but is it illegal in the place we're going to? Perfect. That means yes. So, yeah, cool.
What insurance do we possess for this?
What would you like? What are you looking for?
I mean, our friend here seems pretty keen on the chair.
You can take the chair if you want. It is absolutely fine.
What's the chair made of?
What is the chair made of? The one that you picked.
Leather. Questionable leather.
A chair made of leather. Yeah, great.
The entire chair
You'll
is
have
just
a
leather.
very young chair. Congratulations.
Brilliant.
Just stacked up.
You're going to have to
Just
tie it
pieces
down
of-
when we
Just
get it.
layers of leather, like, put on top
Bolt
of each
it
other.
to the frame.
Absolutely.
We'll then put the chair inside his giant friend.
And then sits there and then just commands it.
I just meant more currency.
Oh, yes, of course. I believe that some people still deal with that. We're talking about 25,000 credits for the crew.
It's a shed. For all of us.
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. You got any fancy guns?
And rocks. Very nice shiny rocks.
Rocks, I do not know. Guns can be arranged. I can talk to a couple of friends. If
Metal
you...
ores. Just other metals.
Well, you are getting paid 25,000 credits, so I assume you can buy your own guns.
We could go back to the rock market.
Rock market sounds interesting. Minerals, I believe, is how they were called prior. Anyway, the item that you are picking up is
Yes.
situated on the southern hemisphere of the planet.
Oh, you don't have it.
No,
You've got to go get it and then move it somewhere else.
Well,
absolutely.
that seems like more work than You told us in the first place.
Yeah, but we are getting paid like a decent amount, and he's got fancy guns.
And a chair, apparently.
And we get a chair.
Let's not forget the chair.
A whole
Oh,
leather
that's not-
chair. The entire leather chair.
Yeah, I said
Sure.
we do.
Yeah, sure.
Very well. Kind of waves his kind of weirdly slimy arm towards an individual that approaches you as well. Deliver them the information, and kind of delivers you this kind of tiny little microchip, which you would assume has the coordinates to where you would need to go to pick up the item.
I immerse in myself in the swarm. I kind of just melt down and just envelop it.
So it's just every now and then we just see the microchip passing by the front
Yeah.
and then the back. Yeah. Nice.
Slightly disconcerting.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I mean, the chair kind of looks alive now.
The chair's controlling you. No.
Yep. Very well. Well, when the job is done, come back, and the credits will be yours. That is all you need to do.
Cool.
Well,
That sounds a lot simpler than it's going to be.
Yes.
Now, why would you say that?
'Cause
Context clues.
Everything's always extra. See?
well, I think we should spend that extra 10 minutes getting back to the ship then.
Sure.
It's like a
I
very
go
good
down the
idea.
cracks and in the elevator, so I don't have to wait this time.
By the time everyone looks, Tristan's just gone, and you see a ping as the elevator just makes its way down. Cool. You all leave your different times, different paces, different methods of transportation to get down the building, with a brand new leather chair in your possession, and the promise of 25,000 credits for simple delivery of an item of some description.
Quotation marks around simple.
And cool guns.
And
Cool
cool
guns.
guns. Let us not forget the cool guns.
Cool guns are the most important part. With the chair.
Yeah, you kind of go back to your ship and you insert the kind of chip onto your onto your navigator, that's the word, and you then set the ship on to course. As you are traveling through towards the southern hemisphere, the weather gets quite harsh in here. It is, you just keep seeing kind of sandstorms of some form kind of just blowing into the ship. Who is piloting?
Erd is going to be the one piloting.
Sorry?
Erd is going to be piloting.
Cool. So, as you are piloting, there are a couple of moments where you feel like the sand, this sort of sandstorm, but it's constant, is just blowing your ship slightly off course. And you just keep having to just turn the ships ever so slightly to follow the navigator that is indicated on your kind of control panel. And you then arrive at this tiny little bunker, this kind of round dome that seems to be made entirely out of a strange greenish metal. And that seems to be the point where the navigator is signaling to.
Hopefully the small thing isn't the entire dome, because I don't think we can carry that.
It does seem a little big.
Can anyone see a way in?
I will try to look for any way in.
Which skill would you like to use?
I'm going to get the default out of the way. I'm going to use perception just to straight look for it.
This will be a 2 die difficulty.
2 and a 3.
2 and a 3, you're fine. Yeah, you look through the kind of cockpit of the ship, and you mark off what dice you've used. Sorry, just remembered. and you look out and you see that there is a small door. Definitely not big enough for him. You two might actually struggle. You might be able to make your way in.
I can change my kind of shape.
Then you don't struggle. Very simple. But yeah, you do see a small opening, about 5 foot tall.
Like when Dream kind of moves, it kind of like stationary, and then it shifts into the next position, almost like it's missed part of the action.
Nice.
Like, and I kind of point at that area where I saw the door.
Yeah, it's almost like a game with lag. Like you are in a position and then you just change it, jump, like a really jumpy. It's almost like
Makes some things confusing for people.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely are missing parts, and then your brain is just trying to work out what is happening. But yeah, so suddenly we just see Treesan just pointing out towards an entry that you now all can identify and see.
Cool. Do you know how to land?
No.
Perfect.
That's probably why we crashed into you.
Yeah. Why did we let him fly again?
I'm a natural flyer.
Oh.
Not a natural lander though.
He sat in the chair first. He got to do it.
Oh yeah, I'd just like to point out before he actually made the way to the bunker, took out the pilot's chair and placed it with the leather chair.
You now have a new.
It was built into the floor, so now there's just a little hole where the leather chairs are.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a massive kind of gap underneath where you can probably store something. I don't know what, but we'll find out.
Decorative guns, apparently, maybe.
Yeah.
There are these circle guns that you put on the floor. They look really nice.
It's a little small for you, so you.
So are
better-
most things.
You better stay here and watch the ship.
Oh, it's no fun.
You can't. You're too small. Big. Words are hard.
Words.
I suppose so. I'm staying on the outside though.
Yes.
Not staying on the inside.
I like to imagine the conversation is you looking through the window. Whilst this is happening, like.
Yeah, huge.
Like when I had to point, I just had to like. Duck out. Like,
Yeah, you had to like squeeze under what would be the armpit. Like.
really like big.
Alright, if you're going in, don't forget to take your weapons. And I'm gonna hand a hitty gun, which is just a stick.
What counts as a gun for you?
Anything that does a bit of, nice looking, and people use it to hurt other people. The more I've got, the less other people are using them. I'm gonna get a pointy gun, which is a stick but it's got a sharp bit on the end, and I'm gonna pull it out. And then I'm gonna pull out. It looks like an assault rifle of some kind, but the end is just the flashlight because the barrel got broken off. And I'm going to put that down as well. Take your pick, guys, I
I
guess.
take the first gun.
Just a stick.
It's a baton.
I'll take the pointy gun.
Guess I'll take the flashlight thing.
Perfect. I got told that one's a laser beam, so...
It was a laser, now it's a flash.
In times they've been. Great. So you are equipped and ready.
With our guns.
With weapons of varying effectiveness.
Of course. Who's going out? The three of you?
I suppose so.
I'll go out as well.
All right. So you kind of wrap up so you're not being too affected by this strange, arid environment that is situated here. And you are walking, and everything has got this like weirdly orange hue to it, all around it, almost like what's the best best kind of like visual. Any of you seen Blade Runner, the most recent one?
No.
Yeah, 2049. So the Las Vegas kind of scene, that's the feel to it. It's just all very orange and saturated. And the ship opens doors and there's a platform, a ramp that opens up as you're walking down. Smoke is just discharging, and you continue walking towards the bunker. The bunker actually seems slightly larger now that you're standing down. The door, quite rightly, you would guess wouldn't fit our good friend Demo, but you actually, the two of you might actually be able to fit through. You arrive at the door. What would you like to do?
Is there cracks in the door?
Sorry?
Is there cracks in the door? At any point?
Doesn't seem to be. Seems to be closed, normal, like someone closes the door at home.
I would like to turn it to a fist and just knock on the door.
Mm-hmm.
Just all of you a fist, or like an actual.
Yeah, but the entire
Is it
body
really
is now
sticky
just
then?
it's practically just that part up.
Yeah, it kind of just went.
The clothes got ruined at that point. They just fell off.
Yes, as your arm kind of goes up, your sleeve just goes down completely. You just knock on the door. No response.
What does the bunker look like it's made of?
It looks like it's made of like iron, perhaps, which is unusual. It's a very archaic form of construction.
So it's a metal.
Definitely a metal, yeah.
I'd like to start eating through part of it.
Please describe what that looks like.
It kind of just like the whole, each bug kind of flips around, and then I kind of stick out an arm, and it's now it's much lighter blue as all the bugs flip around, and it starts just slowly gnawing through.
Grossing through the metal, yeah, and you keep seeing like bits of the metal just travel up Treeson's arm and then kind of disappear as the other bugs eat it.
It's a whole kind of, it takes me a minute to eat like a square foot,
Okay,
but I'm just going to make a hole through the door so I can get through to try and open it from the other side.
cool.
Not just you who's in there, just open it from the other side.
Yeah. I'm going to open the door first so that way other people can come in.
Cool. As you take this moment to go through the metal, and then the door opens. It is very dark in here. Who here has what would be equivalent to dark vision? I think
We have a
this.
flashlight.
That is true.
The flashlight is useful.
There we go.
Every gun has a use.
And you point the very useful gun towards the center of the bunker. You don't see anything that might be classified as the item. As you're looking around, you just see kind of boxes, wooden boxes of various shapes and sizes. Some of them open and kind of the top of it just kind of tilting towards the side, and others just completely closed and sealed. It appears to be, but there is no light inside apart from the one from the flashlight.
Well, I think we should take a look in these boxes.
Yeah, I'd like to shift over and peer, just looking inside one of the boxes which is open.
Cool. The boxes which are open appear to have very cool guns inside.
Actual guns.
They appear to be actual guns, yeah, from your understanding.
I pick one up.
Cool. You pick one that appears to be some sort of pistol that, from your own basic understanding, probably shoots lasers. Probably. Definitely. Who knows?
I take 3 more in different arms which appear. And like there's So one for each of us this way,
Yep.
and he can have his own gun demo,
Mhm.
which he stores inside, and it's an actual gun this time.
There you go. The three of you hear suddenly a rustling of something moving behind you as you are looking towards the boxes. And it moves back.
I don't think we're alone in here.
No. But we have guns, so I'm sure it'll be fine.
Did someone say guns?
Yeah, there's
You
still
did
You
your
just hear
face.
that from outside.
Does your
Super muffled through the shit.
Does your face just appear like at the door, like, hey, I heard
Guns?
I throw one of the pistols.
You're essentially the Iron Giant.
I said you should be called the Iron Giant too. I would like to kind of hide in the shadow.
How do you do that?
I would like to use stealth to kind of just fade to into a black area and to turn over to my darker blue kind of colour.
Great. Go ahead and roll me a stealth. That would be a. I'll be a 3. So
I'm using this my D10, the unlucky one. All different.
Nice. You suddenly kind of disappear into the shadows. The two of you lose complete track of where Tree Sand is. What would you like to do?
I think Erd will go and take a look in the other crates.
The other crates, some of them are empty. They seem to have been already kind of ransacked or taken care of. You do notice one that has, instead of the general cushioning of where these guns are, this one appears to have some sort of bedding to it.
Erd will take a look at that one.
Okay. Would you like to use any skill in particular to do that, or?
Erd will use his engineering skills to try and figure out why it would have that.
Interesting. Yeah. Go ahead and roll me your engineering. This will be a two die difficulty.
Why does a gun need a nest?
3 and 5.
3 and 5. You look around and you try to figure out why the bedding is the way that it is, and you kind of look at the formation and how it is made and who might possibly have done it. This looks to be the bedding of an individual that requires a fairly warm environment to be in. It is definitely made for a creature.
Erd will call the others over and ask them if they would have any idea what sort of creature would have been put in there.
Mm-hmm.
I will kind of, still trying to keep to the darker areas, try and get a look at it, but in a dark area.
All right.
I would like to try and work out what the bedding thing is. Rolling knowledge.
Rolling knowledge. Yeah. So there'll be two
I
dice.
would like to use knowledge as well to see if I know any creature which would
Roll the 2 dice.
3 and 1.
3 and 1.
3
right?
and 1.
3 and 1. You look around and you don't really know the name of these creatures, but some of the hair that is present on the bedding, you notice that it belongs to these individuals that are usually classified as rat people. So it appears that one of them was / is living here.
Could I use engineering to bolt the leather chair to the floor inside the ship?
Meanwhile, on the ship, yeah.
We've got
yeah.
like a compartment for like it just opens and his arm can come in.
Yeah. This is a fairly easy, so it's a 2-die.
You never guess well.
Double sixes.
2 ones.
2-1.
This is what it was like earlier.
Yeah. Somehow you're trying to bolt the leather seat to the ship. Problem with leather is that
It's not a gun.
it's not very good for bolts, and it's not a very hard material. So you are trying to kind of like put this screw in, and it just doesn't go through.
I find it quite funny. The robot, the mech suit thing, isn't very good at engineering.
Yep.
Just this giant arm reaches in. It's like I can't put the bolt in.
It's like this tiny little bolt on your giant hand. It's like.
It's fiddly.
Anything else that you would like to do on the ship whilst they are exploring?
I think I am gonna raid my gun collection, the ones that I don't keep inside me, because there are too many. And I'm gonna look for something that does a big boom.
That's what I look kind of. You just open like part of you and you just reach inside for a gun.
Yeah. You open like your chest, and there's just a ticking clock in. Self-destruction initiated. Cool. Do you have a big boom thing?
I would assume something of the sort. Whether it is an explosive or not is an ambiguous.
Sure. I'll say that you have, this weirdly archaic thing that you believe some people used to call a grenade.
Grenade.
With
Very
you.
nice.
From now on known as boom ball.
Boom ball.
Well, boom gun. It's a boom gun.
It is a gun that goes boom.
With the party on the bunker now.
What kind of inn are we looking for? Do we know?
I get the feeling we might be having to ship out some guns.
Unless there's something bigger here or
Was
smaller.
It was something small, and it was already in a box or in a container, from what I remember.
I would like to go deeper in along the shadows to see if there's anything anything specifically set aside.
Okay. What skill would you like to use for that?
Can I use melee to, as like I'm picking up different things, drawing them into the shadows, looking at them, seeing if it's something, what it is, kind of if it's something we would probably need.
Sure, I'll allow it. Yeah, roll your melee.
Is it just 1, 2 dice?
This will be a 3 dice actually. Trying to find something else.
7, 4. So different.
Great. You are looking around and trying to find something that would be useful for your journey, or something that could be related to this item. There is nothing here out of the ordinary. Certainly nothing here that is worth traveling, hiring someone to travel it for 25,000 credits. Just as you are kind of getting through this material, there is you feel kind of a tickle on what would be your the back of your thigh. Excuse me.
I like so each bug just flips around, so I just basically without moving, like look down.
As you look down, you see this 3-foot tall rat person with completely purple skin.
Purple.
Purple, yeah. You see a small kind of sword by their side, and they say, I'm sorry, are you the ones that are going to come get me?
Are we smuggling animals?
I'm not an animal, sir. I'm
This
an
is a
individual.
person. May I ask what is your name?
Yes, I'm Cree.
Cree. How long have you been here, Cree?
Well, as long as I can remember, about 3 cycles.
I would like to shift my head. This may be what we were asked to take.
Maybe.
Could be.
What's the catch?
What do you? Who told you we were coming to get you?
Well, I was just I was just told that there was going to be a group of individuals coming, but I wasn't really told who was coming, or I was just told by a strange kind of robot thing.
Robot?
Voice.
The armored person, probably. I will put my arm around him. We'll escort you to the ship. Where are you meant to be going?
I think I was meant to be going to Baynox,
Baynox.
the planet. It's a fair ways away. Who wants to try and figure out where Baynox is?
I will.
Using?
Knowledge, to see if I know what I know.
Level 2.
3 and 5.
Baynox is a planet right on the cusp, last you heard, right on the cusp of the burn.
That planet's about to die, honey.
Oh. Is it?
Yes. You see, fins have mortality. And I'm going to try and explain death.
I tried to explain the concept of death, right? You spend some time trying to get that message across. That is...
Damn, it must be just like waiting.
Yeah. What is everyone else doing?
After hearing no noise for a while, I am going to start looking through the gap next to the door and trying to see what I can see.
Cool. Any particular skill you're using for that, or?
Yeah, we'll go for a perception.
Cool. That'll be a level 2.
3 and a 4.
3 and 4. Yeah, you see the Trisan now has this purple rat person next to them, and that the other 2 are essentially looking at the boxes and trying to figure out if there's anything of worth in there. Yeah, that is essentially all you can see after your leather chair fiasco.
I would like to form, so I'm carrying her, and I will walk, kind of turn the bottom into like, just so I can move along smoothly. And I'll move back to where most of the group is like, this is Cree. She's
Hello.
what we need to take. She needs to get to Baynox, which is on by the burn. We've also had a very fun philosophical moment.
I have learned that things die, and that we'll all get there someday.
I hope I make a hand appear, or like a high five.
Sweet knowledge of oblivion.
Things die? Sucks for you.
We either can attempt to send this person to Baynox, or we can try and find somewhere else they would go.
Erd will ask Cree, why is it you need to get to that place?
Any particular skill you're trying to use for that, or just a straight question?
Empathy.
Nice. So describe how that kind of occurs.
Erd will sort of approach Cree sort of the same way you'd approach a scared animal, and would just sort of do that sort of voice which a preschool teacher would do to a toddler, and it asks just why do you need to get there?
This is a level 3 difficulty, please.
One, and 2.
Cree looks at you and says, I'm not entirely sure. I was just told that I was important and I had to go to Baynox. That was all.
You heard her, she's important.
Okay, so we better get going.
I head over to where Demo is by the door. I'm like, look, we have a new friend, and we have more guns for you.
Friend? Guns?
Hello.
Hello.
You're very tall.
Thank you.
I push her
You are very
into
purple.
his hand, into his face, and ask, can you put her for the moment? And I don't go back and pull a crate of the laser pistols for him.
I am 10 times the size of this rat person. This is a person thing?
This is a person.
Okay. What am I doing?
Put her on the ship, please.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
I give the crate of guns to him, and let's head. Should we head back to the ship then?
Sure.
As you are leaving the bunker, and as you are making your way towards the ship, you hear above you. And you start seeing some of the sand just being kicked out onto the distance. And you see a ship roughly the size of yours seems to be approaching the bunker.
Ooh, friends?
No, no. I would like to kind of burrow under the sand to kind of and speed along out of a human form.
I will just walk forward.
Towards the ship?
Yes.
Cool. You head in, kind of wind blowing into your face and metal plates, and there's the door that opens, and then the platform comes down with a kind of the smoke coming through, and you see these kind of heavily armored individuals, kind of weird, with this kind of weird, completely white mask with black slits where eyes would be, and hoods over their heads, carrying what you would recognize as being very special pew-pew sticks, or pew-pew weapons.
Can I put my hand up and say, Possibly using my decorum skill. Hello. Please inform me of your planet of origin so I may greet you with the proper terms.
Yeah, this will be a 4 dice difficulty,
4.
but
Okay.
go for it.
That's instantly a 5 and a 5. And another 5 and a 1.
So 3 out of 4, amazing. You make that, and these individuals just keep walking forward. They are about 7 foot tall, so once they reach the ground level, they are very much looking up at you. One of them, who appears to be sort of the leader, says, "We have information that you have got hold of the assets that we're looking for. Where is it?"
Asset. What? Guys, what's an asset?
I like to mime foot down on the.
I
I'd
don't
like to
think my
mime at
foot
them.
has an asset on it.
I like point at them, go foot.
Do you step on them?
I'm
Okay.
just stomping, because
Oh.
apparently that's what I'm being told to do.
Immediately as you stomp, you see these rifles being immediately pointed up at you, as they see that as a hostile act.
I yell, they use guns for bad things,
Not friends?
not friends.
I'm going to toe punt them. Using my... Can I use athletics for that?
Yes, you may. Go for it.
How many?
This is a surprise, so I'm going to say that's a 2. A 2 dice difficulty.
8 and a 1.
8 and a 1.
Far away from each other.
No problem. You kind of immediately toe punt them, and one of them goes flying out, crashes into the back of the platform, and we are now technically in combat. So, combat in Bryte works slightly different than everywhere else. The combat is made out of three rounds. 3 phases. The first phase is that the enemies will declare the actions that they intend to take. The second phase is that the players will take actions, and the third phase is that the enemies will move and take the actions that they need. Because in Bryte, the heroes are the best. So you guys kind of get to figure out what they're about to do, and then you take your action that you would like. You can take as many actions as you want. The first action has a complexity of 2, second action a complexity of 3, third action a complexity of 4, etc., 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 until you fail. So, who? Let's have everyone roll a d8.
8.
8.
6.
5.
1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's go counterclockwise. So, enemy actions. There are 2 enemies coming out of this ramp. Another one who probably has a broken back right about now, but still active. The 2 of them seem to be intent on splitting up from where you are and then trying to shoot at you. The one that is currently it's got its knees on his neck is about to raise the rifle towards you. So all 3 of them seem intent on attacking Demo. What would you like to do?
Well, it seems like the perfect time to test out this grenade.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to drop it at their feet.
I just noticed that you said grenade, and
Yes.
I can't.
It's a new drink. It's very explosive.
Don't drink that. Yeah, cool. Where are you going to send the grenade?
Hopefully between the 2 people before they split up.
Oh, right, yeah, absolutely. You do take the actions beforehand, so you kind of just throw the grenade. What skill would you like to use
I'd
for
like
that?
to use my ranged one.
Nice, yeah, go for it. This will be a 3 dice. No, first action, 2 dice.
That is 3 and a 12.
Great. the grenade just goes. Explodes in the middle of them. Both of them are kind of sent to the side slightly. Feel free to roll me 2d6s.
1 and a 4.
1 and a 4. That's fine. So both of them are just kind of thrown to the side, heavily wounded. Part of the mask is just broken on the two of them, and they are kind of catching their breath. We're about to take their movement. Any other action that you would like to do? You have movement as well, as always.
Can I, using power, push a load of sand towards them?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that will be a 3 dice complexity.
10 and a 1 and a 5.
Great, yeah. You place kind of your giant hands on the side of the sand and just push over. And are you trying to get the two that you also hit with the grenade?
Just as much as possible.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you get them, and they kind of get pushed backwards, kind of tumbling, and eventually landing on the floor. They are not moving at the moment, but it is hard to tell if they are unconscious, dead, or otherwise.
I've used one of each kind of dice.
You have a Nova point, so mark that on, and you can now start. You can accumulate Nova points. And so you can start using dice again and counting as new ones. Cool. Anything else you would like to do?
That is me.
That is you. Great. Herd, what would you like to do?
So how many are there?
There are 3 of them currently. 2 of them are under a pile of sand. The other one is kind of lying back on the ramp of the ship with a gun ready to point up at Demo.
Erd will then take out his gun, and he will first of all use his ranged to attack them.
Great, go for it. This will be a 2 dice complexity because it's your first action on the turn.
2 and a 4.
2 and a 4, yeah, no problem. You raise your gun, shoot, and immediately impacts on the side. Probably D6, please.
5.
5, nice. It kind of completely gets on his shoulder. He tries to kind of get to the point of the wound, but you just see the gun that they are carrying just drops over the ramp, and they themselves are starting to slide down. They appear to be dead.
Got folded like an omelette.
So Erd can see the 2 beings which are being kicked by the sound.
Yeah.
Okay. So Erd will then do a sort of trick shot by jumping forwards, doing sort of front flip, using his athletics.
Sure, yeah. So 3 complexity on that.
2 and an 8, and an 11.
Great, yeah. You kind of somersault and kind of make a super complex and really over the top shot that eventually just lands on one of them. Roll me d6, please.
3.
3. With that, yeah. Kind of just lands. You just hear, ugh.
And that will be Erd's turn.
Great. Well, we are now to. I know. Mia, sorry. It is your turn.
Do I have the actual laser pistol thing, or do I just have a flashlight?
Did you give any pistols
I did give a pistol to everyone else.
to everyone?
Okay.
So yeah, you have.
I would like to shoot it vaguely in the direction of the people who are trying to attack him, because I do not like violence. I'm not very comfortable with a gun.
Great. Which skill would you like to use for that?
I would like to use ranged.
Great. Yeah, this is a 2 dice complexity, so roll two of them.
2 and 3.
2 and 3, great, no problem. You, even feeling very uncomfortable, you just kind of raise your gun roughly in the direction where they are and you shoot. Roll me a d6, please. Six, yeah, no problem. You just kind of, there's a hit, a bit of sand that just shoots out, and you just then see this body of sand that was about to rise just drop. Apparently, everyone is dead.
Erd will quickly use his perform skill to do a quick victory dance.
Sure. Go ahead with the 3 dice difficulty, please.
Can I use Survive to start kind of assuring, like, Kree, look, see, we're very cool.
4, 2, and 3.
Great. You do a very interpretive and sentimental victory dance after having murdered 3 individuals. So yeah,
And that earns me an over point.
exactly. Sorry, really.
Can I use Survive to assure Kree, see, we're very capable and cool, see? Look at all the stuff we did. They learned mortality.
Roll me with the complexity of 3, please.
12, 10, and a 7.
Great.
And I get an over point.
There you go. Kree looks at you and says, "Oh, so that's what it means."
No, they don't necessarily have to go like this. It could be long time, or quick time, or other people do it. Listen.
Usually it's more of like sleeping but forever.
Imagine you get to take a long, nice nap, and no one bad has to bother you.
But how long does it take? You say quick, long.
Well, it's how long until you get to that point.
Oh.
It can change depending on whether you get kicked in the face,
How
shot in the
dangerous
face,
your life is.
or if you just, live really long time.
Could Erd just do a song about death?
I think we have.
Using what skill?
He will be using his athletic skill.
How does that look like? What does that
Just a
look
very
like?
strong dance.
Exercising the vocal.
Is it a song and dance?
Yeah, song and dance.
I would also like to burrow towards their ship to see and scout to see if they have anyone left on board, like a pilot or an engineer, someone they've left behind.
Cool. Go ahead.
What's the
That would be a complexity of 3.
12, 10, and 2.
Yeah. After a little bit, Kree is learning quite a lot today about
School can't teach you this.
about the dangers of life itself, apparently, and you kind of have this weirdly beautiful moment with Kree, who is now, understanding a little bit more what it means to live in the world.
They've been in the bunker their entire life, as far as we're aware.
As far as you're aware. Yeah. You want to scout the ship
Yeah.
out here.
Can I use stealth as I'm trying to just be hidden so I won't alert anyone?
You may. That will be a complexity of 4. But yeah.
8. 8.
Wow.
8. I rolled 4 8s.
That is impressive. You, as you're trying to move stealthily, you actually don't notice, because you haven't really been in the combat, you don't notice that actually the where the bodies are, and so you are moving through the sand, and you just notice this kind of like slightly like risen amount of sand, and you think that's perfect for me, and you just go into it and just collapse into one of the corpses and just fall over.
In shock, I would like to kind of just send bugs everywhere.
You just like
in the spikes, but like
a weird like spider web that just shoots out in every direction.
like so for everyone it just looks like a.
Yeah, you just splatter on the floor and then disappear, and then whoop, You just reform right in front as if nothing happened. No one really saw it.
Can I select up the guns?
You may. How would you like to? What skill would you like to use that?
I will go with. I don't know. Skullduggery.
With what? Sorry.
Skullduggery.
Great.
Sleight of hand.
Sounds great. That will be to grab complexity of 2. Yeah.
2 and a 1.
2 and a 1. Great. You are able to gather 2 pew weapons. The third one seems to be inoperable, which was the one that you kicked into the other guy.
I have an idea instead. Hey Darrow, can you step on their ship, please?
Oh. You don't want to go on the computers?
I'm not good with computers. We're not good with computers.
I'm good with computers.
Do you want to use the computers?
I would like to use the computers.
Okay, I head inside.
Whip out the computer console.
I
and
head
try
inside
to
looking for the
to our ship.
computers to try and take one of the computers for demo.
Great. What are you?
Melee to just rip it out.
Go ahead. This will be a complexity of 5 to try and get that
2,
thing out.
1, 7, 5, 3. How many dice?
That was 5, and
Yeah,
you
it's good.
didn't repeat. So you grab onto the side of the navigation
Use all
computer. You just pull, and there's just sparks everywhere, and the cables actually stretch and then break out as you then leave the ship, and it's just this computer on Treesan's hands with just sparks shooting everywhere. It is
I'm not good with computers.
is
I don't know.
probably
I throw it, and I'm like, this works.
clearly my job is done.
Now step on the ship, please.
I will use my power again to just step on the ship.
Okay.
Flatten it good. No
I'll
survivors.
do a couple jumps on it.
This would be a complexity of 7, which is the maximum, I believe.
1 and a 5. 4 and a 9. Another 1 and a 5. And a 7.
Yeah, so you do have 2 repeats there. You step on the ship, kind of just keep on like pressing down. The ship is pretty solid. It was meant to withstand entry in atmosphere, and not even you can replicate that pressure. So it seems to hold on to your attempts to break it apart.
Can I pick it up and throw it using my ranged as far as I can, or as hard as I can into the iron dome?
That will be complexity of 7 as well. Try and attempt that.
10 and a 1.
10, 1, yeah.
7 and 9.
Yeah.
5 and a 6.
Yeah. 1 left.
And a 10. Did I get a 10 already?
You did. That was the very first one you got. You try to lift this this ship with your bare hands, but there seems to be something that is keeping it. And you actually lift one of the sides, and just as you're about to launch your hand to grab onto the other side, it's just too much, and you can't hold it with one hand, so it just drops into you, and it's just a bit too heavy for.
I would say maybe we should take this ship instead of our ship, but you ripped out the navigation computer.
That's what the computer was. I just saw it had a bleeping dot.
Usually it's the computers that do the bleeping. You notice how it's not bleeping anymore?
I look at it.
It is not bleeping anymore.
Yeah.
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 Would you like a different computer? I go back inside and
God, you're doing that both of the ships could be unused.
Yep. You don't find the same computer. You find a slightly different one, and a smaller one, right in the center of the ship.
I pick it up, not carefully at all, and when I get outside, I kind of just drop it, but I'm on where the ramp would be, and then I'm just going to watch it kind of tumble down into the sand.
Great. What skill would you like to use for that?
Just power. Just dropped it.
Yeah, cool. That will be a 4 complexity one.
4, 2, 3, 3.
There you go. You try to pick this one up, and it kind of breaks a little bit, and you feel the metal kind of breaks, but it doesn't really lift completely out of the ship. Kree at this point kind of like pokes her head out from your ship and turns to you, Herd, and is like, what are you doing?
Regular stuff we usually do.
Oh. Are they showing mortality to their ship?
Why won't it unplug?
But that's not how navigation consoles work.
This is navigation as well. I ripped the other one. I just punched the monitor.
Yeah, it just goes through.
They can still use this, right?
2 ships and no fully functioning navigation console. I think we're set.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick up the 2 monitors then with athletics. Just
I'll say you do that for free because there's nothing you're really achieving by throwing monitors away. Fine. There's just a monitor flying through almost the orbit of this planet that's going to land somewhere.
Somewhere.
It's going to be great when it does.
Bird will go up to one of the corpses, and he will cut off its head and then impale that head in one of the crystals growing out of him.
Like a trophy kind of thing.
Yeah. I want to go up to one of the corpses and just reassure myself, look, I'm cool. I'm so good. You agree, right? Yeah, I'm great. Yeah.
Roll me a complexity of 3, please.
He will be using decorum to do
Cool.
a bit race. Complexity of 3.
3, please.
4, 7, 6.
Great. When Herd comes back to the ship, and you all come back to your ship, there is a head on a crystal spike.
Is it on you, or you
Yes.
just the head's just like on your shoulder?
it's dripping a bit. You catch that?
It's fine. It's fine. That's the decor.
We're going to need to go through a full wash next time.
I think you've been excellent interior decorator.
I go up to demo like that maybe interventions in order or something, but this doesn't seem usual.
No, let people do what they want to do, but it's going to start to smell. So we're going to wash the shit.
You can keep the skull for all I care, but not the rest has to go.
It will in time.
You could preserve it.
Oh yeah, how do you petrify heads?
You
Sorry.
could,
How do you petrify heads?
Turn it to stone.
No idea. Yeah.
With the roll of a dice.
It's a special gun which does that.
Sure, let's go with that.
Do you have a petrifying gun?
I can't say I do, but we could probably find one somewhere.
Okay.
There's a gun for everything. You
There's
just
a
have to
gun.
find it.
That's the life lesson gun solve
a
everything.
high temperature heat gun might work to dry it out fully.
You dependable.
Bird will then go into that dome thing and try and find like a sort of flamethrower.
Where are you going? Did you say?
Back into the dome.
Back into the dome. What skill are you using to try and find this gun?
Bird will be using ranged for his natural knowledge of guns to try and find one which looks like what would be a flamethrower.
Sure. I'll say that has a complexity of 4.
Okay. 0 and 0.
There you go. You look for a little while, but there's really not much that you find in the way of a heat gun of some sort.
Maybe I can toast it on the bird when we get the planet.
Can I go back over to one of the courses? Like, see, this is why we're cooler. Can I use Suave just to show it that we're still better than him?
Guys, just a reminder, we are on a job schedule here. We probably need to get going soon.
The individual is dead, so there is nothing to be gained by showing them that you're the best because they do not acknowledge it because
I
they are
would
dead.
I would like to go into our ship and sort of stare, slightly exasperated, at the navigation monitor, which has a big hole punched in it, and just sort of blink at it, trying to just try to make it work. Which doesn't really.
Okay, what skill would you like to?
Engineering.
Okay, so you're going to try and fix it. Great. That will have. It is punch through the monitor. That will have.
None of us are incredibly good at computing here.
That is true. That will be a complexity of 4.
Okay.
I would be good at computers if we had any left.
3 4s and a 1.
Nice. So no repeats.
3
4s.
3
Oh,
fours.
3 4s. Sorry. You try and make it work. You kind of just blink at it, hoping that, okay, if I close my eyes when I open them, the monitor is definitely going to be fixed, right? And you open it, and it's not.
I try and just fix it. I just try. Look, if it makes you feel better, just try and do it with something to it to help.
You can certainly try.
I like to use engineering.
Complexity of 4, please.
2, 4, 4, 4.
You actually try to help. At one point, when you close your eyes and you open back up, a tree stand is in front of you, and it kind of scares you a little bit. You kind of jump back, just you're not expecting it. But yeah, that occurs.
I make it worse. There's no keyboard now.
The keyboard just disappeared somehow.
I guess we're going to navigate manually then.
Can I find one of the old maps that we have and just kind of
Stick it on front of the
round?
monitor.
Put it like in front of the
screen,
where the monitor
yeah.
would be. Yeah. You kind of want to wrap it around. And it's not very nice. Kree's like there trying to like make it very smooth and.
High-tech,
The glass shards are still.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives you a vintage look. But yeah, cool. So you guys eventually kind of clean up the area here.
Bloodstains, the glass.
You have
Broken electronics.
a map, not really a navigator. You have a map of some description, and you know where you need to head to.
Now, the real question is, before we go, are we going to the place with the burn, or are we going to go somewhere else to make sure this person stays alive longer?
She seems. I turn into shrugs. Like, she seems valuable. These other people wanted her.
Yeah, but did they want her for her, or did they want her because someone else wanted her somewhere else?
Well, we are working for someone named Evil, so.
Yeah, that's a good point. What does that word mean?
Eval, that's it.
Yeah. Right. I want to know, why are we still going? You're on the ship.
Should
They're
we
not.
scout out the planet to see what it's like?
Sure. We should probably start flying then.
Yeah.
Said to Bane.
Erd will then take off and fly to the planet.
Before he takes off, I close the back door.
Yes, that would be a good starting point. You set out to fly out, and you see now that even as you're just raising your ship and preparing to fly, the sandstorm that is present on this side of the planet seems to be already kind of taking over the ship that is present here. You get a sense that it's not going to be long until that ship gets just covered by sand, and it will eventually become some sort of dune. That's how severe this sandstorm occurring is, if it keeps up. Cool. Let's have a look at this. You set after consulting the map, you set the written coordinates to Baynot's that you hope are still correct, and you hope hasn't been overcome with the burn yet. But you are eventually set the ship to autopilot. The ship goes into faster than light traveling, and you are free for a couple of hours, way more than that, but for a few hours to walk around the ship, do whatever it is that you guys want to do personally, talk to each other, talk to Cree. Stage is yours at the moment.
Will ask Cree if she wants to play a game of catch.
Do we have an autopilot?
Yeah.
Glad that hasn't been broken.
What's catch?
Bird will pull the head off of.
I would like to hear through like an event, like there are better ways of playing catch.
And we'll just sort of say, it's a game where I throw something at you, you catch it, and then you throw it back at me, I catch it. We continue this process. So would you like to play?
When Cree throws it back at him, I would like to try and take the head.
She catches it. Looks at it, turns the head around so it's facing her, and she's like, this one learned mortality, and then just throws it at you.
Can I try and take the head out of...
Which skill would
I'd
you
like to skullduggery to kind of just take it out of when he's about to catch it and just put it in my arm, and I want to then just hand him a ball.
Cool. Trying to time that's going to be kind of complicated. Let's say that is a 5 complexity.
2, 3, 1, 5, 4.
Nice. Yeah, just as the head is going towards you and you're about to catch it, there's just a kind of hand made of bugs that just forms in front of you, and suddenly the head just stops there. You have a head in your hand.
I pick up a ball.
That's a sentence for a Saturday night, isn't it?
I pick up a ball from like inside me and just go drop it in his hand. It's like, you play catch with a ball normally, and then I'd like to start shredding the head.
I worked hard to get that.
That is making even more mess. So thank you.
There is like a paper shredder, so it's coming out the other side.
Oh.
I get my vacuum attachment from my finger. Start.
It's like mince meat going out of the other end. It's horrible.
Mince meat and bone.
We are wreck Cree.
Well, I suppose that's dinner sorted.
Yep.
No!
It's going to vacuum though. I don't
Who's
think-
full lasagna?
Yes, the vacuum is connected to an incinerator within me, which helps give me more energy. It's all eco-friendly.
We are wreck. We are teaching you some valuable life lessons, but some of them aren't.
I've learned that mortality is something that happens, and when it does, you just have to eat the head of the one that's just small.
I was going for a high five, and then I quickly just retract the arm. And the last.
She goes for a high five and completely misses because you retracted your hand. But yeah.
Just say the first part.
Mortality is something that happens to everyone.
Yes, and I make a high five.
And what do you do after they die?
No.
You eat their head and they...
Treesun's going to go into another room to punch a computer.
There's a room in the ship that's just computer screens for Treesun.
She collects heads, he collects guns. I just... Treesun finds computers and beats them up.
Everyone needs a hobby.
Now we've got to find something for Anna to collect.
Yeah.
Problems. We seem to find a lot of those.
Mm-hmm.
I was is between like a basic computer and it's like the generator, one monitor. It's like, don't need that. No, fine, computer.
Yeah. Cool. So a couple of hours pass in your journey to Baynots, and you eventually there's an alarm on your autopilot asking you to take the ship off of faster than light traveling. I assume that you go there and deactivate it. Great. You move up there and you kind of deactivate it, and immediately as you arrive, leave, and you just see the planet of Baynots, which is beautifully green all over. You see clouds kind of forming and following kind of like a weather pattern on Earth, kind of like cycling, spiraling inwards. But not too far away from where you see the planet, there is a vast, all-encompassing kind of red belt that just goes all over around you. Beyond which you see no darkness, no stars. It's just a burning imagery over there. As you get closer to Baynots, the temperature gets hotter and hotter. Not uncomfortably so, because your own ship's kind of life support systems kick in to maintain a mean temperature. But you can tell that you are seeing the burn for the first time. You agree it's the first time you see the burn?
They've caught glimpses before when they've been trying to escape places which have been too near, but this is mainly like the first proper time in person.
Cool. Yeah. And even Cree kind of looks at it. She may not understand fully what that means, but she looks over and she just takes it all in for a bit.
If you go there and if you don't get out in time, you learn mortality.
Oh.
And nobody gets to eat your head.
Then what's the point?
Exactly. Stay away from the
This
red
is
bit.
bad.
Oh.
That's when something, and I explained the concept of something being bad.
Sure thing.
Roughly how long will it be before the burn actually gets to the planet?
It's tricky to figure out with the burn. The burn seems to be moving at kind of different paces around different sides of the galaxy. However, it is, from general understanding, on like constantly moving. But it can kind of slow down or pick up a little bit. It seems to be less of a kind of closing in a kind of homogenic form, but it seems to be almost like a contraction and almost like a breeding organism. That as one side pushes in, the other side kind of slightly slows down, and then vice versa. So it is very hard to calculate how long that is going to actually take.
Does the planet currently look like it has life?
How would you like to try and discern that?
Can I use presence to look for presence?
I'm gonna say that's not really what.
Then perception.
Perception, sure. You are outside of orbit at the moment, so that is probably a 6 difficulty.
Oh, there's no way I can beat that.
Which dice are you rolling?
D4s.
Hard to tell. Hard to tell.
I'd like to talk to That's it. Our goal is to drop Kree off. We haven't been given any other information, have we, on what to do after?
Well, we were told once we dropped her off, dropped Kree off, to go back to the guy and collect our payment.
We weren't given a location to drop off. We're just going off Kree's words.
Yeah.
And also the navigator's shot. So if that updated with any coordinates, we have no idea.
So, in theory, we could just load Kree into one of the torpedo bays and fire her at the planet.
You're really, really nice with guests.
Or we
Of
could
course
drop,
I am.
or we could drop her off somewhere safe.
Yeah.
On the planet
Or we
about to
could
meet
just
with
keep with
mortality.
On a different planet.
Do you want to stick around? You could stay with us.
You could be our mascot.
Oh my god. No.
You could be our friend. And I explain the concept of friendship.
Well, I thought I had to go to Baynard's.
Yeah, but it doesn't look the same.
Why do you feel like you need to go to Baynard?
Because I was told that if I was there I could help.
I'd like to turn the bugs into kind of a small wall so that Kree can't exactly work. But I like them just emanating from the walls like, how is she meant to help? This doesn't stop sound. It's just that she can't see. She can still hear.
She could be a blood sacrifice.
This is
I
not the
don't
reason.
think it's our decision how she helps. I think we just go and have a look, and if she can help, she can help. If she can't, we can just pick her up again.
Alright. I turn the wall, flick it over her, and turn kind of into a puddle which falls back into. So, right, we're gonna drop you off then. If you feel it's too bad, too dangerous, explain danger. After 10 minutes, then we'll pick you up. Okay?
Do we have any sort of like space suits or something of the sort?
You would have spent enough time on the ship to have created / bought spacesuits of your own. So
Can I get Kree to put one of those on?
it's going to be way too big on her, for sure. Because it's a not regular size, like a 6
I'll
foot.
enter the seat to
Yeah,
fill up
6
the
foot
rest of the
/
space.
5 foot
Perfect.
suit to 2 foot.
I will enter the suit with her to fill out the rest of the space. So that way I'm also in the suit.
Nice. I like that.
It's got to feel
Leaving-
awful.
Leaving whatever helmet there is off. I'm going to keep it inside me. Because we're planet side. Can you land it again?
Sure.
I think it's quite a loose term.
We'll attempt to land on the planet.
Okay. It's a bit hit and miss, but eventually, especially because there's now that you've actually made your way down, you see just a plethora of trees, and they appear to be really healthy, really enjoying the light that they're getting, and it looks beautiful. Which kind of just becomes a little bit weirder when you think that this planet is essentially doomed in the very near future. But you manage to land your ship, and the ramp once again comes out, and you are on the planet of Baynard's. Where would you like to go?
Kree, you have any idea where you would like to go towards?
Yeah, it's somewhere on the northern hemisphere, and I think it's going to be on a city.
There are lots of cities.
Do you know any specific features
I think it's somewhere on the edge of a desert, which is also right next to one of those green things. We can say that this conversation is happening as you're flying into the planet. So I don't know.
I would like to see if I know any city I'm going in with a description like this.
Using.
I guess it would be knowledge.
Go for it.
How many times do I roll?
New planet you've never been in. Let's say it's a 4. That's correct.
2, 3, 4, 1.
So you're good.
I'm good.
According to her kind of description, as you consult again one of the strangely old things called maps and planet charts that contain some information about Baynos itself, and you do recognize a town in here that could be the one that she is talking about, the town of Fiza.
How far do I just think that could be from here?
Well, you're still orbiting the planet, so you could just get there fairly easily.
I say to drop off at this location.
Is that on the side facing the burn or facing away, or sort of in the middle?
They'll be the side facing away from the burn.
Cool. We've got a bit of extra time then,
But I mean,
depending.
planets rotate.
Yeah, it depends how long we spend.
But currently, it's facing away from the burn. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I tell Erd where to land.
Land.
Erd will attempt to land there by crashing into a building.
No.
In the city?
Front.
Well, it's not the building any
No,
longer.
he's going to try and land on some sort of landing site.
Cool. I'll say that you manage to land on some sort of spaceport. And as you land and as you kind of gather yourselves, there's already a multitude. As soon as the ship opens, already a multitude of kind of droids that come in to repair the ship, take general care of it, restock and resupply the fuel and stuff like that. And you eventually come out. There's a humanoid individual up there saying, "Don't worry about this now. We're going to take care of it. You just go about your business, and we will have your ship ready for you when you come back."
Thank you. That is very nice of you to provide that service.
All right. She just kind of turns back and goes into the ship. Kree in here looks just wide-eyed, admiring this entire.
I'm gonna pick Kree up.
She is still in the spacesuit, right? We put her in a spacesuit.
She would be, yeah.
I just crawl along the glass of this front, like, do you feel different or anything?
I don't feel different per se. I feel like just a little bit weird. That's all.
A good kind of word or a bad kind of word?
I don't know yet.
I changed my mind. I'm gonna pick everyone up and put them on the shoulder.
Nice, yeah. So you're all now just walking on the shoulders of Demo, who has to crawl for most of the doorways, but keeping you safely on the shoulders. And yeah, you continue to make your way, and eventually you find a, let's say, kind of cantina location within the forest that you just passed next to. It is a kind of how would you say, like a ziggurat kind of situation. So a pyramid made out of cubes, let's say, and you see 1,000 different banners from different races and different species just hanging from the sides of each from the sides of the cigarette. The door is wide open. It got to the point with these banners that kind of fishing lines were put between the ziggurat and the trees, so that more banners could be hanged there and be able to be visualized. And as you enter, again, weird and exotic races that some of you might not have come across yet, even in your adventures, are present here. There is a band playing in one of the corners, and you enter anywhere you would like to go. You know the cantinas are usually, if you're trying to find someone, that's the place to go.
I will go, towards sort of a bar area, and just ask, we got a delivery, anyone particularly important expecting one?
This individual, who appears to be kind of like an arachnid, kind of close the pincers, and says, you're going to have to define important a little bit more, I'm afraid.
We don't know who we're delivering to, but we were told by a very pretentious but also very wealthy person to deliver another person here for a specific thing they're supposed to be helping with.
Who was this important person that talked to you in the first place?
Evel? Evel? Yeah.
Ivel.
Yeah.
Ah. The eyes, all of them, just kind of shuffle around to look at you. Say, just a moment. Moves back and disappears behind the bar. And you now you wait for a little while, and eventually this arachnid person says, "Come meet us in the back," and moves towards one of the doors.
Can you
I
take
fit
it back?
through the door?
No, that sounds good.
You cannot fit through the doors.
Cool. I'm gonna just lie down outside and stare through the doorway. You guys go on ahead.
Controlling the limbs, I get down in the spacesuit and enter the room.
Cool. You step into the room. This room is fairly empty, apart from very basic chairs, tables, and you just see a fairly old humanoid individual here with kind of wisps of white hair hanging down his neck, clean shaven, wearing heavy kind of leather cloaks and coats and all of that jazz. And they have a small, some of you would recognize as being a small cage of some sort.
Would it be big enough for Crane to get in?
Yeah.
I walk over.
He says, "Ah, yes. I have been expecting your delivery. I see that you have the subject with you. Please, approach."
I walk. Freeze at the top with the head, and I turn round and use the arm to kind of like motion forward.
Go.
Back.
I would like to roll for perception to try and see if they want to use Cree for any nefarious purposes.
Yeah, I'll say you can use the perception to try and look at that
Yeah.
cage and try to figure out what it does.
Yeah.
Go ahead. That'll be quite a complicated roll. That'll be a 4 dice complexity.
Okay. So 3, 7, 4, and another 7.
Okay. It is hard to figure out, especially from this distance and without having kind of first contact and first-hand contact with this cage. Yeah, but it's a cage, so it doesn't look good already. Come, grab a seat.
I'm just gonna hang out over here if that's alright.
Yes, you have heard you are quite big.
Yeah. This is just my head through the doorway.
You can stay out there if you want to.
Yeah.
Listen in.
I'm gonna just look through the doorway. I've got my fingers holding it open.
Good. The rest of you, please, find yourselves a seat.
I'm just trying not to talk, so it looks like it's just Cree kind of piloting.
Are you going to sit on the seat today?
Bird is going to take a really, really complex manoeuvre to sit on the seat by using his athletic skill.
What does that look like?
Hand wheels, cartwheels, forward jumps, backward jumps.
Forward jumps and backward jumps.
I'm not a gymnast.
You can try that with a complexity of 6, because it's quite a move.
A 6.
6, yeah.
Okay. 4 and an 8. 1 and a 7. 7 and a 5.
That's 2 sevens. You take out a big maneuver trying to show off, and immediately, just as you're about to complete the last one, you just impact the back of the chair, roll a little bit over it, the chair breaks, and the individual sitting on the other side of the table, as he sees you kind of rolling.
That was a little bit over the top, was it not?
There's no such thing as over the top.
I clasp the up hands to the head. I'm like, what?
Well, please, the subject, bring it forth.
Erd will, at this point, just stand up and use his presence to try and to ask, what do you intend to use Kree for?
Nice. Roll a presence with a 4 complexity.
Six and 3, 8 and 4.
Nice. This individual turns to you and says,
Kree, is it that you named it? Well, this individual we have learned has the strange and innate possibility of being able to prevent small cosmic events from occurring. We are wondering if we can further that research in order to perhaps save Baynots from the destiny of the rest of the galaxy. You'll be doing Olaxis a great service eventually. This is why you are being paid so handsomely. The galaxy itself will be in great debt to you.
What kind of research?
Well, we believe that the ability resides in the subject's blood, so blood will have to be extracted.
And you can do this safely without too much harm to the subject?
Of course.
Cool.
And in that case, Erd will pick Kree up and give it.
She's in the suit. Dree-san isn't feeling comfortable, so when Erd tries to come over, she just like moves back off the chair in the suit.
Why do you have the cage?
Well, subjects are usually not too happy with having their blood being taken out of their bodies.
I can solve that problem. Kree, they're just gonna do a thing to get some of your inside liquids. but it'll only hurt a little bit, and then it's over.
I don't know if I like pain.
Not many people do, but this one won't be very long.
How do you know?
Because needles, right? They go in and they come out very quickly, usually. Not in my experience, but from watching and experiencing other people have needles put into them. It's not a harmless process, but it's a very efficient one in most cases. It means it's done quickly.
How are you trying to convince Green?
I'm going to attempt empathy.
Okay, go for it.
How many dice? I'm using d4s.
I was going to say this is a 4. This is a complexity 4. This is fairly...
So I have to roll one of each.
Yeah.
That's a 2. That's a 3. That's another 3. And another 2. Should have just
Hey,
used
you
the
got
same
2
dice.
doubles.
I don't know about this. I'm not too comfortable with it.
That's fair enough.
It says in the abilities,
Yeah.
Telepathy, I can try and communicate with any creature that I can see. Can I try and talk to Demo? Like, these aren't good people. They're bad people.
How do you know?
I flex the arm at the cage. Like, we've been good people. Very good people and taught her valuable lessons. And they want to put her in a cage and take blood away from her. They're doing this not for good reason, to
But
save
it might
themselves.
stop the burn.
But what if you didn't need to take blood from, like, if we're good people and take care of her, we can teach her how to do it.
I do not understand why this is taking so long.
That's a very good point.
I thought you
This
were...
person's bad.
I
He's
thought
gonna
you were
use.
set.
So, just to be perfectly clear, not friends.
Not. So it's okay if I attack them. And they attack. Okay.
I'm gonna use my range to shoot the guy.
Okay. As you are setting out, this is going to be a combat. So, actually, I have to do this now. For myself. So we will have a tree here with Cree, and we have you're at the door, so you're right back. Cool. They are about to get up, and they seem to be going to press a button on the wall.
This
Well-
person,
What would you like to do?
I am going to extend the gun that I was built with, that I don't tend to use, which is inside my finger. I'm going to point it at them, and I'm going to attempt to neutralize them. Not necessarily kill, but put them out of action.
Go for it.
How many?
This is 2.
Oh, perfect. 6 and a 10.
6 out of 10. You open up, and your laser just goes. Impacts him. Is that an ability you have, or just?
No.
Okay, cool.
I am going to spend an overpoint to make it deal 1 extra damage.
Nice. So it kind of impacts, and you feel an impact there, and they are now looking around to the 3 of you, or the 4 of you, and thinking, he's outnumbered. Anything else you'd like to do?
Can I try and force my way inside?
You can certainly try.
Go with athletics.
Go for it. Complexity 3.
8, 7, 3.
8, 7, 3. You push through, and the wall where the door is starts to crack and crack and crack, and suddenly kind of collapses completely. Your body seems to be the only thing that's holding at least the portion of the ceiling where you are leaning on.
Perfect.
Anything else you'd like to do?
Can I use engineering or knowledge to figure out what I think the button would do?
Sure. Complexity of 4, and use whichever one you feel like.
6, 5, 1, and 2.
6, 5, 1, and 2, so you're good. It is very much an alarm button. You've seen some of these before, so you know that once he presses that, he won't be the only thing you have to worry about.
That is another noble win for me.
Nice. Very good.
That is my turn.
Great. We are with Herd now.
So, how many people are there?
Currently, there's one person in the room.
Okay, in that case, we'll pull out his gun and use his range to shoot them.
Complexity of 2, go ahead.
Seven and 5.
7 and 5 means good. It is going to. It's going to impact them, dealing 1 damage. Cool. Yeah, just kind of hits, and you feel that there is some sort of. No, actually, no. You would have felt that on the first shot, that there was some sort of barrier that you probably recognize as a shield that didn't do as much damage. But then yours goes completely through. Anything else you'd like to do on the turn?
We'll shoot again.
Shoot again. Go for it.
They're all different.
They're all different. Cool. Yeah, it's going to hit. Dealing no damage. Nice. Anything else you would like to do?
Suppose he'll just shoot again.
Go for it. Difficulty of 4 now.
9 and 6. 2 and a 9.
All different?
No, I got 2 9s.
Okay, yeah. You go for the third shot, and this time just goes wide and impacts just on the wall. Very close to the button, but not quite.
Oh yeah, I should mention, don't let him press the button, don't hit the button. Avoid the
Don't
button.
hit the button.
Avoid the button.
Is that everything on your turn?
Yep.
It is not your turn, Mia.
My turn.
Yes.
I would like to look in slight bewilderment as what's going on around me, and I would like to see. I see shooting other people. I'm going to try to find my pistol. Only, but I take it out. It's the flashlight. And I don't.
Yeah, you tried to shoot, but
Yeah.
you just activate the flashlight.
It's blinded.
Big,
Now.
big torch. And yeah, and anything else that you do on your turn?
I would like to no,
Righty then. Treat.
I'm going to burst through the chest in like a single column
Yeah.
out of the spacesuit and land on top of the person. Piece. Yeah, icon. the person.
Yep.
Did we get a name?
You did not catch a name.
And kind of just pin him to the ground. And that's just my goal for the moment, to pin him to the floor.
Which skill?
I'm using melee to kind of just like
Great. Go ahead with a complexity of 2.
3 and 2.
3 and 2. Yeah. You shoot out and then eventually just kind of land all around this individual who's trying to reach for the button as much as he can.
You do not stab little girls with needles for science.
Anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
Which hand's trying to reach for the?
He's currently crawling because your entire way is on.
But just so both, I'm going to try and cut off the right hand with my. Yeah, I'm going to use a. Can I just use a Nova Point to turn into a Ball of Death just to engulf them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I do.
What does that do?
I spend a Nova Point to turn into a tight ball. I can move through spaces occupied by other creatures, and I can move up to 10 squares if I want. I can make a single attack roll against every enemy I hit, and the rest is kind of just covered.
Cool. Yeah, you immediately, after you kind of collapse on top of him, you just kind of explode into a ball, and he starts to scream as these insects just keep biting and gnawing at him. Eventually, you feel no resistance.
I turn back to a humanoid shape. He is large mortality, Kree.
Kree is looking and saying, "Where was he going to put me?"
I point at the cage.
Yeah, and the cage is like this completely opaque metal box that you look at.
Not even bars.
What's left of the cage? What's left of the corpse, even?
Just just a skeleton with a bit of muscle and skin attached, but even the leather, I assume, has just been mostly eaten by the leather clothing.
There's still parts being chewed and spat out, so it's just a mess.
I will hoover up what's left.
And incinerate the rest.
Call me violent, but I have my methods. We do.
And Demo has a hoover.
Obviously. You messy guys, you lot. Someone's got to clean up.
I did clean up. You're just cleaning up when I didn't.
Exactly. If you can clean up and leave a mess behind, did you really clean up?
Is there a door behind where the person was?
There's no one behind, but there's. So you came in through one of the doors, and there's a door to the left, which you assume is.
I'd like to open that door.
If I move, this room at least is probably going to collapse.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to just open the door to see what's in there.
The door is locked.
I say we just get out of here.
The bird's coming in, so...
Let's just get to the ship.
I go.
Everyone
I leave the
inside.
I ruined the spacesuit as well. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's got a rip in it now. It's not fully functional.
Yes, I burst through the chest of the spacesuit. I'm sorry. I pile back into the spacesuit. Is Kree still in the spacesuit, or did she get?
No, she would have left.
I get into the spacesuit and pilot it, and just pull the hole together.
Yeah.
It's still obviously something burst through, but but there's no helmet head there. It's just it's a thin line along the back of the bugs looking through.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, and you now are all crawling inside of Demo, I assume. And Demo, how would you like to get out of this tricky situation you currently find yourself in?
I am going to use my power to basically the way we came in, but rather than just crawling slowly and trying to be polite about things, I am on an extraction mission. So I will let the room collapse as I move out through the hole I already created and just barrel through, heading to the ship.
That's going to be a complexity of 6 to get that done. So go ahead and try that.
1 and 7. 6 and 3.
1, 7, 6, 3.
10
Yep.
and 4.
You succeed. You, after your companions are inside of your chest, you just kind of rise up and you just power through this ziggurat. Completely behind you, you just hear as this building starts collapsing in on itself. Eventually, you hear screams of all the people that were in the cantina, and you're just running towards the ship.
As I'm running, I would like to say thank you for your service.
I go to high five Kree.
Kree high fives you. And you just make your way towards the ship. What are we doing?
As we approach, I will sort of pull everyone out and push them inside the ship.
As soon as I get I'm going to get onto the ramp, and then as soon as I get in, the spacesuit just collapses forward as I pile out.
Nice.
We'll go straight to the cockpit and begin takeoff procedures.
Cool. Yeah.
I close the back.
Slightly more successfully than the landing, I hope.
Immediately after you close the back door of the ship, just rises, leaving the planet behind, and you travel in the opposite direction of where the burn is.
I have an idea. I say we head back to the guy that hired us. We tell him we delivered the person, because we did. It's not lying.
We delivered them and took them back.
And our part of the job is done. So we get paid, and we get to keep our new friend.
And help them learn
Things like
mortality again. And to help.
I mean, yeah, we can figure out how to fix the burn later, but for now, short-term plans often work out better.
The world destroyed, then no, mortality first.
Sound good, Kree?
Alright, I just don't want any of you to get into trouble, that's all.
Oh, well, trouble's part and parcel of life.
I explained somehow parts of trouble work.
Trouble is often more fun than not trouble.
But it's also less safe than not trouble.
I mean, this has been a lot more fun than the rest of my life, so I assume that's what you mean?
Yeah.
I can get used to this.
Awesome.
Excellent. Don't go eating heads.
So, flying to the place we originally picked up, Eval's place.
You travel on the FTL kind of the FTL way, and you arrive on the planet. You go into the big spiral building.
I'm going to stay on the ship with Kree.
Okay, sure. So the three of you have the job to
And now we can use the elevator.
lie. You make your way up the elevator. Now there's just the three of you. And there they are, at the end of the room. A weirdly slimy and green individual in their purple robe.
We did it!
Well, yes, I am to assume that the job is done. Although I only see three of you. Where is your
Hi!
empty
We decided
companion?
it would be simpler for our other companions to stay back on the ship as to not break any more chairs.
And so it doesn't take us 20 minutes to use an elevator.
If they look out the window, I'm waiting for the ship.
Just over there waving. Well, this certainly looks like a job well done. Do you have the... I assume you have the proof that the subject was delivered?
Oh yeah, of course we do.
Would you mind producing such proof?
Erd will pull out a gun and shoot him.
I was
Um,
going to say I spit out part of the body, like, here's your proof.
So, if this was a film, we would end with
It would be a comedy plus horror tragedy.
yep, we would end with Erd raising a gun and shooting the strangely slimy creature. What happens to Demo for the rest of the time they have remaining within before the burn eventually gets them?
After a bit more adventuring with these guys, I'm going to take a different ship, and being that my consciousness can be transferred, I'm going to risk faster than light travel through the burn to see if there is anything on the other side. Depending on how far I get, whether the burn stops or not, may be repeated.
Yep. That's good to know. But that's what happens to Demo. What happens to Herd?
Erd will live out the rest of his days adventuring until finally he grows too old and he, as his people usually do when they get old, he finally slows down and fully becomes rock and crystal and stands as a monument in his hometown.
What does the monument celebrate?
Life, death, heads, and chairs.
The Great Chair Monument of Herd the Crystal.
Oh, he is sitting in the chair.
Great, of course.
What's the head then?
Oh, it's just various heads he's collected of the adventurers.
Did they turn to stone?
No, they just sit on the spikes.
Great. What happens?
Anna travels with the group for a couple more, for a little while longer, but then she returns to the scientific research she was doing before she joined the others to try to find a way to stop the burn.
Yeah. And what happens to Teresa?
Dreesen spends time taking care of Kree, but as well as trying to teach her to the best of their ability how to use their power, trying to figure it out along the way, whilst as well trying to live a protective life and to kind of be safe at the same time.
You had a mission, and to the best of your ability, to the best of your wanting, you've fulfilled such a mission. We will never know whether Kree was a worthy sacrifice or not. Sometimes, do the means justify the ends? Who knows?
But the heads don't must justify
But the
death.
mortality justifies the heads, that's for sure, and the chairs. Thank you very much for playing this weird version of Burn Bryte that I got through on my sleep-deprived brain. You were pretty great. Thank you very much for sticking with us and for watching. We are going to take yet another short break, probably around 15 to 20 minutes, and then I will be back with the final game of our 24-hour stream. It's probably going to be a little bit longer because this one's a little bit shorter. With a big high-level D&D fight. No one knows what's going to happen except me, kind of. Maybe I don't really have an idea, and I was just going to think about for the next 20 minutes. But no, I do have a plan. So thank you, and we'll see you back.